Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Chase here at Rocky Mountain. Thank you so much for stopping by. Say hello to the new Alpinestars Tech 10 Enduro. This is October of 2024 when this boot's being launched. And there's a couple things that I'm excited about with this new Enduro version. So first of all, is that it's getting pretty much all the same features, not quite though, but it's very, very similar to the Tech 10, the standard model from Alpinestars, which is arguably the most supportive, most protective premium motocross boot that is on the market. But here's what I really like, is that they didn't just take the standard Tech 10, put the Enduro sole on it and say, here you go, here's your Enduro version. They did a lot more than that. They've gone through and they've made some pretty significant changes to this version to make it specific and cater to the off-road rider, specifically the Enduro guy who's doing maybe a little bit more slow, more technical riding, and we'll get into all that. I want to point out some of the major features that are different, that's separated from the standard Tech 10. The one that you're going to notice right away is they got rid of the frontal flex insert that they had right here between the two lower buckles. The toe box is a little bit softer than the standard Tech 10. The profile is flatter. The toe doesn't arch up as much. And then obviously you're gonna have the all new Enduro sole. Those are the major changes, but let's talk about why they made those changes and how it makes it better for that discipline of riding. So before I dive into that though, let's talk about the fit real quick. So I have the standard Tech 10. I've had multiple pairs, and for me, the fitment's true to size. So the length, I wear size 9. The length is fine for me. I feel like the Tech 10's got a pretty wide toe box, so no issues there. I do have a pretty wide foot. It accommodates me fine. A lot of riders ask about calf openings. To me, the Tech 10 has a plenty large calf opening. My calf is just over 16-inch circumference. I wear a knee brace, and I've got plenty of room up top for that, which is nice. Keep in mind that the Tech 7, the baby brother to this, has quite a bit smaller calf opening. So if you're looking at the two and calf opening is important to you, you're gonna be better off going with the Tech 10 in that situation. But overall, the fit for me is comfortable. This is a boot that I can wear all day long. I have had from time to time a couple pinch points from the inner ankle brace, but when those situations happen, I can just take the boot off and I can kind of just move it around just a little bit and I can usually get rid of that pinch point. But overall for me, the comfort's been great. And keep in mind, we do have our fit guarantee. If you buy a set of these or any boot that we sell, if you don't like how it fits, send it back to us in brand new unused condition, and we will give you free shipping both ways on your first exchange to make sure you get the size and the fit that is going to be best for you. I do want to also point out, kind of going back to who they built this boot for. Just because it's an Enduro off-road model, if you're a moto rider, don't think that you couldn't wear this for moto, because there's plenty of riders out there that love the Tech 10, but the Tech 10, like I said, stiffest boot brand new out of the box. What I love about the Tech 10 is that even over time, I've probably got 30, 40 hours in the pair that I have now, and they're not quite as supportive or as stiff as when they first came out of the box, but they're not far off. It maintains its supportive impact protection well after those things are very well broken in. Now, for some riders, it's a little bit overkill. Maybe it's a little bit too stiff for you. So you can definitely rock the Enduro version. And little birdie told me, I can't name names, but I do know that there have been some high profile riders that have ridden in this Enduro sole and actually really liked it with how much grip it gave. So don't think because it's an Enduro boot that it's not gonna be good for moto and other types of off-road riding. All right, so let's get into it here. The construction is going to be the same as the standard Tech 10, microfiber base, all hard TPU all throughout, but let's get into just the big changes from this and the standard model. So first one being, like I'd mentioned, right here between these two lower buckles. When they were designing the Tech 10 Enduro, they know that for that type of riding, slower, more technical, you're planting your feet on obstacles, and you need the boot to flex more, especially just right out of the box and when it breaks in. You gotta be able to get that brake pedal. You gotta be able to get your foot underneath the shifter a little bit. You're standing up a lot more, I would say, in Enduro style riding. So you just want the boot to have a little bit more flexibility, but still maintain good support, good impact protection. And so they've got rid of the flex frame that they have on the standard Tech 10, which goes right here. And that flex frame is what makes standard Tech 10 so supportive, but also makes it very stiff. And like I said, for impact absorption, if you're over jumping or casing a jump, no better boot to have on than a Tech 10. But even with this gone, so this allows the boot to flex more. However, what's cool is that you notice that you have these bellows right here between these two lower buckles. So those are actually multi-density EVA foam. And this design came from the Lawrence brothers. The Lawrence brothers were in that boat where they love the Tech 10, but they just felt like, hey, it's a little bit too stiff. And those guys are getting new boots pretty often. They don't have as much time to break in a pair before they might have to go race in it. So they said, hey, we need more flex sooner, but we still want good impact absorption. That's where this design came from. And so you have that there. And then as you work your way down again, you don't have that hard plastic right here in the front that you have on the standard Tech 10. So all that is just designed to allow this thing to move a little bit more. You still have the blade system here in the front and the rear, which is gonna have a limit for over compression and also hyperextension. So that's coming from the Tech 10. We already talked about here on the toe box how this is a softer feel to it. So again, just trying to give a more connected feel to the motorcycle. The profile, like I said, is a little bit flatter. It's gonna make it a little bit easier to get your foot underneath that shifter. The texture on this left toe box, when you compare them side by side, you'll see on the right side, it's actually just like more dimpled. But on the right side, you can see it's much more textured. So that's getting better grip on the shifter. Same buckle design, cold forged buckles work really well. They can get stuck a little bit when they do get dirty. It's never been a deal breaker for me, but it is a buckle design that's very easy to do, very easy to use. You've got the same hinge system as the standard Tech 10. So you've got your lateral hinge here. You've got the medial hinge on the inside as well. Same rubber that you would see on the Tech 10 as well. Offers good grip when you're squeezing the motorcycle. But here's some other changes. When we get to the actual shell and the inner ankle brace, so this is all the same. This actually comes from a standard Tech 10. This is all remains the same. So in the heel area, they have their DHCP, which stands for Dynamic Heel Compression Protector. So it's actually a piece of EPS foam that they put in the heel area. So if you do have a big impact to the heel, that's gonna help absorb a little bit of that. This, I believe, is replaceable if you did have a big enough impact to damage that, because once EPS compresses, it loses its ability to compress again and give the same amount of absorption. And so when you do compress EPS, just like a helmet, you'd want to replace it at that point. But that just goes right there in the heel. I also really like too, the Tech 10 has always been one of my best boots. I feel like of all the premium options, it gives really good peg feel. And one of the big reasons for that is right here, they have this big relief cut that just allows a lot more flexibility right here in that front part of the foot. So that just gives you a good feel and a connected feel to the foot peg. So when you're riding, you know exactly where your feet are sitting at. So that all remains the same. But with the inner ankle brace, so if you're new to Tech 10s, this is what you have on the inside. So this all is pretty much unchanged. The one difference though between the Enduro version and the standard is that the outer ankle brace right here, so you have one of those on each side, they did soften this up just a little bit. Again, going along with not having that insert in the front, they're just trying to allow this to move a little bit more than the standard version. That's the only difference with the inner ankle brace. All right, let's get to the sole here, because that's another big update. So this is their Enduro sole. So what's cool though is that from here to here is going to be the same design as the standard Tech 10. So you're gonna be living most of your life kind of right in this area when you're on the foot pegs. And again, this whole insert's pretty large, is all replaceable if you do wear through it. But then when you get to the front here, so this lug design that they have where my fingers are touching, that's pretty similar to some other lug soles that I've seen. But what's unique though is what they have right here up on the front and then on the heel. So you can see this actually has a lot of give to it, almost acting like they say like a little suction cup here. So that is gonna give you really good grip when you're taking your foot off the bike, you plant it on a rock or a log, whatever it might be. You're gonna have that in the toe as well as the heel. And like I said, there's been top riders that have ridden with this Enduro sole, and that's why I say if you're a moto guy and you like the idea of having a little bit more flexibility than the standard Tech 10, you're gonna get that, but you're still gonna have a sole where honestly, I don't think you would even notice the difference when you're just riding on the foot pegs between this and the standard. I could be wrong. I'm gonna ride them both back to back to compare them, but where this sole is really gonna shine is in that Enduro setting when you're planting your feet and you need that extra grip off the pegs. All right, so real quick, just to show you again the buckle design, it works really well. Cold forged buckles, it's a tongue twister. You just take your strap, snaps down. Very easy to operate. And aside from that, like I said, you're getting all the same DNA as the standard Tech 10, but they're just wanting this thing to flex a little bit more, for those riders that are looking for that. So if that's important to you, this is a really good option. If you do have questions or comments though about it, please leave those down below. We will help get those answered. To grab a set, to see the different colorways, click on the link or head over to RockyMountainATVMC.com. If you haven't watched my spotlight yet on the standard Tech 10, go watch it because you'll see there the differences between the two. We're gonna be showing you some side-by-side clips throughout this video to give you an idea, but go watch the standard Tech 10 if you haven't already. Maybe that's the boot that you want. If you want the most impact protection possible in a premium boot, I would tell you to go buy the Tech 10. But if you're not that concerned about it, if you're doing more technical riding, or if you're a moto guy again, just looking for a little bit more flexibility out of an Alpinestars boot, these are gonna give that to you. Questions, comments, again, down below. Click the link, head to RockyMountainATVMC.com. You know the deal, we ship for free over 75 bucks. And if you wanna stay up to date on the latest and greatest products like these, get subscribed to the Rocky Mountain YouTube channel. I'm Chase, and we'll see you on the trails.